I'm Casey with Tab Performance, and today we're going to show you how to do a Stage 1 kit on a 2014 and up Sportster. We've got our HD 1212 filter here that'll just go right behind the stock housing, and then we're going to be putting on the Tab Performance tip compatible slip-ons with the zombie baffles. When we're all finished up, we'll show you how to flash a quick tune using the Power Vision, and we'll go from there. Alright, so for starters, we're going to use this 3/16 hex head ratchet to remove this center bolt off of the air filter. Alright, once we get that screw out, the filter should just come right off. Set that down. Now we're going to use the T27. Same ratchet here. Remove these 3 screws right out of this stock air filter here. Alright, once you're done with that, if you've not ever used one of these before, you can pick these up pretty cheap at a Harbor Freight or anywhere. It's just a little magnetic tray to make sure you keep all your loose screws and fasteners and everything in one place. Our air filter comes right off. Everything comes off with that there. Alright, once we get this all locked in here, you should feel it click and fall into place. So we're also going to remove this little plate here, and then put that back here on the K&N part. Alright, once we get these all tightened up, just go about a quarter turn past hand tight. You definitely don't need to overdo it on this one here. Put our air filter back in place. Make sure the seal lines up well with the little cutout on the bottom here. Grab our bolt back in the center. And then again, we'll use that 3/16 hex head to tighten that back down. Same thing here, don't over tighten. Alright, now we're going to move on to the mufflers. To get the mufflers off, we'll use a 1/2-inch wrench to pull them off of the support bar there, and then we'll use our 9/16 socket to loosen our exhaust clamps. Alright, now that we have all those loosened up, we're going to, if they've been on there for a while, you might spray a little WD-40 back here, let that sink in for a little bit to help you get them off. Otherwise, we've had these off here recently, so it should be pretty smooth. It is going to be pretty hot, so make sure you get a nice pair of rubber gloves or something if you've been running it recently before you try to do this. And then we just pull from back here. Move it in a circular motion, and they come off. We will be reusing our exhaust clamps, so do pay attention kind of to how orientation of how they were on there, so you make sure once you get it back on you can tighten them down. Alright, now we're going to take our Tab Performance tip compatible mufflers. These are the zombie baffles. They come in either 1 3/4, 2 1/4, or the zombie. Zombie is the loudest, 1 3/4 is the quietest. We're going to go ahead and pop our exhaust clamps back on there. And then line them up and slide them forward up underneath here under this heat shield. There is one helpful tip we'll share with you. When you are pushing these, we do want to make sure we have a nice seam line here on the muffler body. And so you may, depending on if your shields have shifted a little, you may need to loosen this first heat shield hose clamp on the back, just to give you a little bit of wiggle room for getting that muffler on. Then you can tighten everything back down. All right, once we get that done, before we tighten anything down with the muffler clamp, we're going to go get these bolts up underneath here, lined up, and get each of them started before we tighten any of them down. All right, once we get those screws all hand tight, we'll go back through, tighten them up with the 1/2 inch, tighten these down with our 9/16. Follow all your torque specs from your manual for this, and then we'll go ahead and we'll also tighten down any of the loose hose bands, hose clamps that we use to buy us a little bit of room to line everything up. And then once we're done with that, we'll move on to the tuner and show you how to do that. All right, now, in order to tune it, we need to get to the data link plug here. So we are going to pull these 2 clips up and remove this left side cover. Once we get these 2 clips up, it should just pull out. And then you can just lift up and pull out to pop it off with this little hook down here. And then we can get to our little tan plug here. Go ahead and set that on the seat for now. A little 6-pin plug. We just kind of like to leave it hang outside of the case, but it is tucked up underneath here. Now we're going to take our Power Vision. We've got a 6-pin plug for the 2014 and up here. Got our connection that comes with this. Plug it into our, so we hear that click, and now we need to turn the bike on in order to get the unit to turn on. All right, once we turn the bike on, our unit will power up. We have one of 2 options. If we have a custom tune, we can use that one, or we can use our just standard tunes that Dynajet puts on there in the library. So we're going to go ahead and click Program Vehicle. We are going to accept. We are going to load tune. Then you can either go to Dynajet's pre-configured tunes and find one that's similar to your setup, or if you have the setup just like ours, we do have custom tunes available. And go down here in slot 7, tab Performance, Zombie Baffles. We're going to continue. We are going to select Flash. And that is going to load the tune. That should take a few seconds. When it's done, it'll prompt us what to do, and we just follow the on-screen prompts. All right, now it's asking us if we want to reset all learned trim values. Yes, we do, in fact, want to do that. All right, now it says to please turn the key off. Wait 10 seconds before turning it back on. So we say okay. All right, now we're gonna turn it back on. The unit will automatically power up. All right, and we're done. So now we can go ahead and unplug everything. Put our cover back on, and then fire it up and take it out for a ride.